Alright, you beautiful peoples of the interwebs, Glyn here, Cheapskate Gaming News Tech Reviews, and I'm going to do my little review of Guardians of the Galaxy, a game that I really, really enjoyed. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this because, to be honest, I'm not really into the Marvel Universe as such. I don't mind a bit of Spider-Man and the Hulk and stuff, but I don't actively seek out to watch any of these films. So the actual Guardians of the Galaxy's franchise is something that I'm not really familiar with myself. And to be honest, the game has really got me interested in this Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. So what exactly is the Guardians of the Galaxy? Well, essentially you're playing the main character, Peter Quill, hashtag the Star-Lord, and his band of retrobate sort of teammates. And you've got your basis as your spaceship, and you're essentially flying through the universe, trying to make a few quid, trying to make a name for yourselves. And there's a lot of humour in the game, and it's set from a third person's perspective. And essentially, you get into well, let me start from the start. First of all, it's more of a platformer. It's a linear-led graphic adventure game. So there's little platforming bits, there's little puzzle bits, and when you come to fight enemies, you kind of get trapped off in the arenas, and then you're in a fight, a bit like, say, something like Devil May Cry, where, when you come to fight the enemies, the sort of invisible boundaries come around you, and then you sort of set in an arena, you've got to fight the fight. Although it doesn't do it with invisible boundaries, normally they'll do it with a wall that needs to be broken after you finish the fight. So it does that a little bit more realistically, a little less immersion breaking than some other games. So you get into a fight with the arena, you control that one character, Star-Lord, but then you can emit commands or issue commands to your teammates. And as you go through the game, there's a bit of an RPG element where you can spend points to give your teammates new commands. You can also give your main character, the Star-Lord, new commands as well, and you can also buff up weapons, things like you can fly higher for longer while you shoot and things like that. So essentially that's the basis of the game. It's a third person arena shooter with a sort of puzzle and platform element thrown in there. So I can remember playing on the PS3 some of the older sort of superhero games like the Green Lantern, and there were a couple others as well that all sort of came out around about the same time. And again, they were sort of linear story, third-person perspective games, similar to this. But what this game does, it does it so well. Now, it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but the sum of its parts really do add up to greater than the whole. And what do I mean by that? Well, the acting, the script writing, the playability of how you, the playability of the characters. There's puzzles, there's platforming, there's little mini games in there, and none of them, apart from the acting and the script writing, the actual gameplay elements are not perfect by any means, but when you add them all up and put it all together as a package, it works really well. I was just absolutely intrigued, and I really, unusual for me, I really enjoyed the story. A lot of times in video games nowadays, stories tend to be a little bit lackluster. I look at all the latest Ubisoft games and the story's a little bit weak, aren't they? But this game, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Now, it's kind of a bit of a trope in that Guardian of Galaxies, you save the galaxy. Yeah, whatever, but it's the way it's told and the characters you meet along the way, and there are some bonkers characters. You've got Lady Hellbender, this crazy ass, super strong, superhuman monster hunter type character that basically you piss off at the start, and for half the game you're running away from her, and she's chasing you. That's quite funny because they're always trying to make a few quid, these Guardians of the Galaxy, and they get into a lot of trouble trying to swindle Lady Hellbender. But then there's all these other characters, like you meet Like you meet this, also meet this dog called Cosmo, which is like a dog with superhuman intelligence that is from Earth, but it's really funny. It's just a little cute Labrador in a spacesuit, and the conversations with Cosmo, he's almost like a king of this sort of world planet, and that's quite funny. You know, there's just the amount of humour in the game is tremendous. I was giggling and laughing. I'm quite a hard guy to actually make laugh, but I really did have a smile on my face playing the game. And there were certain characters I literally fell in love with. The character Mantis, who I really enjoyed in the game. He's a bit like one of these cute little Japanese YouTubers that you just can't help but like, because no matter what they say or what their predicament is, they always make you smile by the comments that they come out with. And in the game, I think Mantis, you meet her later on in the game, but she's like she's like a telepathic being that has seen through many multi-dimensional universes. So she's seen the past, the future, and depending on like she's seen multiple timelines for your future then, and so she's always coming up with these quips like, oh, is this the one where you die? Oh, is this the one where we meet the crazy big monster? And I'm not really doing it justice, but I don't want to spoil it too much. But when you play the game, you'll understand what I mean there if you do play the game. So what did I think of the game? I absolutely bloody loved it. I can forgive it for its little quirkiness and its little quirks and sort of falling off ledges that happen to me quite often. A little bit annoying, but because I like the game so much, I was straight back on it, and you never lose too much progress. There was a couple of little bits in it where I felt unjustly punished for walking forward too fast, and then maybe it just cuts into there's one bit where an icicle falls, hits the floor, and you're thrown into a bit like a quick time event. And I kept dying 3 or 4 times, and eventually I learnt just to walk a little bit slower forward and jump backwards at the right point. But apart from that 1 or 2 little issues that I had with the game, bloody loved it all the way through. Really great fun. Overall impressed with the game. What I really like about it is that it's quite old-fashioned in that there's no DLCs, there's no paying microtransactions or anything like that. There is suits and stuff there is unlocks in the game, and you unlock those by actually playing the game and finding the unlocks. Very old-fashioned. That's how we used to do playing games years ago, and it's great to see it back. It's great to see this IDOS Montreal just go full circle and come back with a game where, you know, you pay once and that is the game, and there's all the bits and bobs that are in the game for you to unlock. You don't have to, there's no paywalls and there's no grinding as such, other than just trying to find the little hidden secrets that are in there, which just adds to the playability and maybe the replayability if you want to go and unlock them all. So fantastic. Thank you for that, IDOS. That was I mean, this is the way we get to now, is that we have to thank companies for giving us what was always in games from the start years ago. Anyway, with that out of the way, what am I going to score it? Well, I wanted to score this a little bit higher in my head, but because it's not perfect with its animation and there are a few quirks and jankiness within the game, not to spoil it, I have to knock it back a little bit. So it would have been a 9 out of 10, but because of it's not that perfectly set out as far as game playability is, I'm going to give it an 8.5. But really, it's one of the most enjoyable, fun 8.5 out of 10 games I've ever played. So that's Guardians of the Galaxy. Definitely worth it, and now it's already a few months old. You could probably be able to pick it up for around the £20-25 mark, hopefully, and it's definitely well worth it and good value game at that. So there we are, 8.5 out of 10. That's my review for Guardians of the Galaxy. An absolute blast of a game. So this has been Glyn, Cheapskate Gaming News Tech Reviews, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.